What is humanity's greatest problem? Is it COVID-19? Is it cancer? Is it AIDS? Is it poverty? Is it hunger? Is it joblessness? Is it terrorism? Is it crime? Is it racism? Is it the government? What's humanity's greatest problem? The Bible answers that question, and it answers it very clearly. It says in Romans chapter 5 and verse 12, "Therefore, just as through one man, Adam, he only had one rule to keep in the Garden of Eden, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and he broke it. Therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world," he sinned, he broke God's law, and he brought sin and the curse of sin into our world. "And death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all have sinned." One man, Adam, sinned, and he brought death and corruption to the world. Prior to that, there was no sickness. The world was good. There was no suffering. There was no sadness. There was no sorrow. There was no poverty. There was plenty. There was plenty to eat. There was no crime, no corruption. Human bodies were made to live forever. There was no sickness. There was no sin, no death, and no corruption. That's the bad news. Sin is our biggest problem, but the good news is, what's humanity's greatest solution? Jesus. Also in Romans chapter 5, it says, "Therefore, as through one man's offense, Adam's sin, judgment came to all men, resulting in condemnation and death. Even so, through one man's righteous act, Jesus, righteous, never sinning, dying for us on the cross, his righteous act, the free gift, eternal life, came to all men, resulting in justification." God treats us just as if we had not sinned. Our greatest problem is sin, but our greatest solution is Jesus. Jesus is the one who took our death penalty. He took our judgment. He became sin for us. He died for us on the cross so that God can treat us now as someone who hasn't sinned, who's been justified, and give us eternal life. So we have the hope in heaven of being back in that paradise, that Garden of Eden, where there is no sin, no corruption, no sickness, no sorrow, no suffering, no sadness, no hunger, no poverty, where our bodies will be perfect and made to live forever. Jesus is the greatest solution to man's greatest problem. You need to get to know Jesus. You need to give your life to Jesus. You need to follow Jesus. You need to trust Jesus with everything.